Okay, next question. Andrea Bell. How come when you get a personalized reading, it's different to your monthly forecasts, and in some cases the opposite? And how much should we relate to the monthly forecast? Just a little confused. Okay, great. That's a really good question. First of all, um, it's not going to be opposite. Okay, the way it works. So let me give you the bigger picture here. Okay, so there are different astrologers on YouTube. So for instance, people like Tom Lesher and David Palmer, the Leo King, what they do is Tom Lesher, he does the weekly forecasts, and I think the Leo King, he does daily ones. And what they do is they look at the transits, so what's going on in the heavens at the moment. And they give you a rundown of the energies. And those energies are not personalized at all. They are the transits and really what the heavens are kind of concocting and bubbling up just by themselves, okay? What that doesn't take into your account, what that doesn't take into account is your natal chart and you as a person, as an individual, and how those kind of current energies relate to you in specific. So that's the beginning. That's the broadest kind of picture. And I used to do those forecasts in the summer. I did just the energies of the transits. So that's the biggest scope. We're looking at everybody there. Okay. Then the monthly forecasts that I do, they narrow it down because they narrow it down to signs of the zodiac. So Aries and Taurus. And what that does is it looks at the energies for everyone born in a specific time period. So, for instance, Virgo, end of August to end of September. So that's what the transits in the heavens, how they affect everyone born in that month. So it gets more specific, okay? So if I do a personal reading for you, it's not going to oppose that monthly forecast because the monthly forecast is specific to you anyway. It just means that the personal reading will be even more specific, but it's not going to oppose it because you're going to be somewhere in that Virgo section anyway, for instance. Do you see what I mean? So most broad is just the transits, then it's the sign of the zodiac, and then it's you specifically. That's really, really, really specific. But the sign of the zodiac is going to have a lot of information that will come up in your personal reading too. So it'll never be the opposite. So how much should you relate to the monthly forecast? That's the next best thing to having a personal reading because it's specific to those 30 days when you were born. So it's pretty specific. Okay. Yeah, this actually is a good question because I always get asked this also. I do the daily tarot readings on YouTube, and that's pretty broad as well. So like I mentioned, Tom Lesher and David Palmer earlier, that's for everybody. And why do those work? Those work because, first of all, the cards are great. I love the cards. But what they do is they pick up on the energies that are floating around. And they will look different for anyone. So let's say the energy that's floating around on a Tuesday, one of the cards is the King of Cups, let's say that. So there'll be compassion and love and kindness in the air. Okay, that's going to look different for different people. Some people will experience that as their father is wonderful with them. Some experience that as their children. So the specific circumstances will be different, but the energy will be the same. And the reason that works is because it works for the small community of people who watch those videos. So I think about 2,000 to 3,000 people watch those every day. And the people who are drawn to that and who really tap into that energy and watch it, it's right for them. Does that make sense? Because they're drawn to it and watch it, it's right for them. It's like the law of attraction. Because they get that message, it means they're tapped into that energy and they receive that energy. If, it wouldn't be as accurate if a million people watched that, because obviously the specific circumstances would vary greatly. But because it's such a small community of people, I get a lot of feedback of just how accurate they are because the right people are drawn to those videos at the right time. I hope that makes sense. It's quite a I find that quite tricky to explain sometimes. Okay, next question. Is it, I'm sorry, my pronunciation. It's either Althea Miles or Althea Miles. Hi, Gregory, and thanks for doing this for us. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. I have a question on interpreting dreams. I've always been fascinated in how to really find out one's meaning in dreams and find that the dream books are really not much help. I remember almost all my dreams, and the ones that Spirit wants me to remember the most stands out, but trying to interpret them, I'm at a loss. Any thoughts on this? Thanks again. Okay, dream books are good because they give you the symbols, but they often don't. They fall down because often there are so many symbols in a dream and they interrelate that you can't just pick them and choose them. And I do dream interpretation and I use my intuition to figure them out. If you tell me your dream, I kind of just feel the dream and I get the meaning of them that way. So my guides or my angels or my intuition, whatever, it gives me the meaning. So I'm no expert, I just receive the messages from Spirit. So I don't know how to tell you to interpret them apart from tune into them and see what they mean. So that's not a system, that's not a technique. What you could do is you could look at all the specific signs and then try, like using those books, and then try and combine them. So if you have a raven and you have a sun and you have a sweet wrapper, then you've got psychic ability, energy, and childhood, and then you can try and combine them into saying that by using your psychic ability, you will tap into what you're really meant to do. But as you can see, that's a kind of a mishmash, and you're trying to make things match together, and that's not the most accurate kind of way of doing things. The most accurate way of doing things is if you tune into your intuition and you get the message through, because it doesn't come from you, and you're not trying to make it fit intellectually, and it just is. Right, so that's not really very much help to you, I'm afraid. The books, and then trying to... Right, so I guess try and appeal to Spirit or your guides to give you the message. Because your subconscious mind, I mean, there are different types of dreams. There are types of dreams where they're detox dreams, where you've experienced something and your mind is just working through them and releasing them and letting them go. There are predictive dreams where you dream the future and it happens. That's kind of prophecy. There are kind of wishful thinking dreams, so literally dreams, so what you would like to happen. There's different types, but they feel different. And the more you kind of engage with them, the more able you can find out which is which. The other thing that does help in that sense is to keep a journal. Because often when you reread, so you have a dream, you wake up, you have the book next to your bed, you write it down, and then when you reread it, often the answer will pop into your head, and that's the kind of intuitive way of decoding them. So start to do that, and then reread them a couple of days later when you're out of that energy, revisit those dreams, and often you'll get your message that way. It's like a sort of delayed postal system that way. Okay, so that's a bit of a tricky one, and I think that's why dream interpretation is often done really well by other people for people, because it's quite hard to figure out your own subconscious mind because you're so close to it. You don't have that objective view in. So again, appeal to your intuition or spirit to give you those answers. Okay, that's it in terms of the questions. I hope you found this useful. I'm going to be doing these once a month, and I've split these this question and answers section. I've split it into different videos, so you don't have to watch the whole thing if depending on your time availability. But I will be doing these at least once a month, so you can always just post a question. Just put the hashtag Talk to Gregory. You can put it on Facebook or Twitter. I'll pick them up and I will answer them that way. So I hope this is giving you some info. I like doing this because it makes it much more interactive and I get to speak to you directly and it's fun. So have a great day and I'll speak to you soon.